morning, stakeholders and shareholders. The tail end of 2013 proved to be very challenging for both the country and your company. Our assets in Leyte province that account for 54% of our company's revenues were directly hit by Yolanda, the strongest typhoon recorded in Philippine history. Overnight, our power generation dropped to zero as the cooling towers and other facilities suffered severe damage in the wake of the 315 kph winds. We then worked closely with the local government units of the two districts in Leyte, where our operations and communities are located. We wanted to assess their most urgent needs. Following that, as our chairman Piqui Lopez mentioned, your company mounted massive relief operations that became an unprecedented private sector mobilization of resources and logistics. Together with our friends and partners in AIC Aviation, Sakip Kapamilya Foundation, Philfos, Asian Shipping Corporation, Royal Star Aviation, Cebu Pacific Airlines, and others, we were able to organize, transport, and deliver much-needed medicines, food, fuel, gensets, and other relief goods before anyone else was on the site, in the very early days when the needs of the people were most acute. We distributed a total of 2,340 tons of EDC relief goods. We purchased and used existing gensets to power Ormoc City Hall, Cananga Municipal Hall, the only two hospitals remaining in Ormoc City, and the critical Ormoc Water District pumping stations. Independent news reports have said that because of the EDC gensets and fuel, clean water was supplied to 80% of Ormoc City. We have also started the reconstruction of numerous damaged public schools. Our teams of doctors and nurses ventured far beyond the confines of our facilities to help those in the community, and every week, tons of medicines were dispensed and countless wounds and ailments healed. Because of our deeply ingrained Lopez values, in particular nationalism, social justice, a pioneering entrepreneurial spirit, and business excellence, we were able to mobilize timely and systematic rescue, relief, and rehabilitation efforts without any media fanfare. Our assets in Leyte were back 100% by March 2014, 5 months ahead of schedule. This required an urgent global sourcing and transporting effort that involved over 15 companies across 3 continents, and we used 3 chartered Boeing 747s. We are very proud to have restored our power plants back into service in record time, just as the summer peak requirements of the Philippine grid began to increase significantly. We needed to help because hundreds of thousands of Filipinos were relying on us in an island where ours is the largest business enterprise. It was our time to help the province that has given us so much over the years. We are aware of how vital it is for the recovery of a shocked and weary region that the private sector moves quickly in the early days marred by confusion. Let me now draw your attention to the much discussed Pacman. We share the frustration of all stakeholders with the delays of the return of the Pacman power plant to service. It has been a challenging journey which has required 3 changes in contractors and a shift in strategy, which, as an honest management, I believe should have and could have been done much sooner. In 2013, we placed 2 orders with Toshiba for completely redesigned turbine rotor diaphragms. This is what we call our permanent solution and will be installed in the 4th quarter of 2015 for Unit 2 and the 1st quarter of 2015 for Unit 1, and has been done by Toshiba for other geothermal power plants around the world, most notably those owned by Calpine and the Geysers. With these changes, the plant will have a modest gain of output and a considerable gain in efficiency. However, in the meantime, we will pursue solutions that will be cash flow accretive. Starting January 28 of this year, we are now reaping the benefits of the Unit 1 interim solution repair. The cost of that repair, $1.8 million has been recovered in less than 3 weeks of operations. A similar cash accretive approach is being pursued for Unit 2, which arrived in Manila yesterday on board a chartered flight from Indonesia. We excitedly await the operation of Unit 2 in the second half of this year. Our consolidated revenues for 2013 stood at 25.7 billion, a 9.6% decrease from 2012's 28.4 billion. Similarly, our recurring net income decreased by 27.2% to 7.4 billion from 10.2 billion in 2012. Consolidated sales volume also decreased to 6,655 gigawatt hours compared to the 7,033 gigawatt hours sold in 2012. Revenue from our hydro asset was markedly lower by 2.2 billion. This was driven by competition in the supply of ancillary services that severely affected sales. There was also a 592 million peso drop in the revenues of our Leyte business unit because of the impact of Super Typhoon Yolanda. However, we generated slightly higher revenues from our Negros business unit, where revenues rose to 7.2 billion in 2013 compared to 7.15 billion in 2012. Our Bacman business unit generated 1.5 billion in cash from the operations last year of Units 1 and Units 3. Mount Apo business unit, on the other hand, reached 1.9 billion in revenues, slightly lower than the 2 billion of the previous year. Its sales volume of 698 gigawatt hours was below its contractual obligation of 788 gigawatt hours. This decrease was due to the lower availability factor of Mindanao 1 due to its scheduled preventive maintenance. We also continue to implement major maintenance works across all generating assets to improve reliability and efficiency. In the Visayas, where most of our geothermal assets are located, we were hitting average availability and reliability factors of 97 and 98% respectively for the unified Leyte power plants, the highest numbers in the past 4 years. We are now exactly in the middle of our 10-year transition or transformation period, with the end goals of becoming a diversified power company in terms of both technology and geography. We continue to explore the geothermal potential of our 5 frontier areas, as well as 13 concession areas we now own overseas, while we diversify our clean energy portfolio with wind power. In Luzon and Mindanao, we have completed the relevant tests to confirm the potential resource size for Bacman 3 and Mindanao 3. Your company also won the bid for the rights to trade 40 megawatts of the 200 megawatts energy strips of the UL IPPA, which was privatized by PSAL in November. The Northern Negros to Nasulo relocation project is targeting commercial operation this June. In fact, just this Saturday, May 3rd, the Nasulo plant formerly installed in Northern Negros finally operated at the full output of 45.5 megawatts for the first time since 2007. As this plant commissions and operates, some of the impairment charges we took from 2009 to 2011 will be reversed. In Northern Negros, we completed the resource sustainability study and started negotiations for the right-sized power plant. Our 87 megawatt Burgos wind project got off the ground last April, and we have since added a second phase of 63 megawatts to the project. We contracted Vestas, the world's leading manufacturer of wind turbines, for the supply, installation, commissioning, and maintenance of 50 units of its widely deployed and proven V90 3 megawatt wind turbine generators. First Balfour is building a 42-kilometer transmission line with a carrying capacity for the full 150 megawatts, while PT Alstom Grid of Indonesia is constructing the substation also for the full 150 megawatts. We expect to complete this project on time, with the first phase 87 megawatts in the fourth quarter of 2014 and the additional 63 megawatts in the first quarter of 2015. Prospects remain bright on the international front. Last year, we negotiated 2 joint venture agreements and 1 acquisition in Chile and 1 in Peru, continuing EDC's expansion from 0 concessions when we started in the region in 2010 to now having stakes in 13 consolidated concessions and another 39 applications. Last November, EDC acquired Hot Rock Limited's geothermal concessions and pending applications in Chile and Peru. In Peru, we are very excited about the Achumani and Tutupaca projects, as well as the remaining Cuela Apacheta project. All told, these 3 projects, if they deliver, should be roughly the size of Unified Leyte. We also signed a JVA with the Canadian renewable company, Altera Power Corporation, for EDC's acquisition of a 70% interest in 4 of its projects, including Tutupaca Norte in Peru and the Mariposa project in Chile. For Mariposa, we awarded contracts for the detailed engineering design, and the civil works actually commenced December of last year. We also strengthened the human resource component of our Latin America team with key hires in critical positions and specialist positions, and established our Peru office in the district of Santiago de Surco in Lima City. We are also continuing to pursue entry strategies in Indonesia. We have been granted preliminary survey rights for the Grahum Yabu block, an attractive site on the island of Sumatra. We have submitted to the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources our final report and findings that the site holds an estimated 150 megawatts of resource, or roughly the size of Pacman. 2013 was the second year of our 3-year structural transformation into being driven and led by autonomous strategic business units. Joining our growth driver this year is the WIN Ilocos Norte business unit. Other notable changes in the way our company is run include our migration onto the SAP platform, as well as our migration to an asset-light posture for all non-core activities. We are using managed services for a host of needs, ranging from our data networks to drilling chemicals to site civil works maintenance and leasing of heavy equipment. As a result of our acquisitions, moves to strategically outsource selected activities, refinancing of our debt, and other efforts to improve efficiency as a company, our EBITDA margins or cash generation now stands at 59% from 46% in 2009. Last year, we conducted 18 safety training courses in an effort to continuously improve our performance. These sessions included safety leadership, creating a positive safety culture, and the international benchmarking for electrical design, installation, and inspection, among others. In conclusion, we have all been intensely focused on our careful and measured diversification in terms of technology and geography. We are now a geothermal, hydro, and with 11 wind turbines up so far, approximately 33 megawatts, now even a wind company. We also have concessions and/or applications, offices and employees in the Philippines, Chile, Peru, and Indonesia. Very soon, we will commission the largest wind project in Southeast Asia, and later, drill in Chile. Peru will follow in very short order. All this has been done against the backdrop of turning around the Northern Negros Power Project from an 800 million peso loss generator to a 700 million peso incremental net income producer. Pacman, which has had many disappointing turns, has been generating cash since the beginning of the year and is set to finally operate in full in the second half of this year using the interim solution. We are definitely in transition and in transformation, and you will see a stronger and more profitable ADC this year and in the coming years as our projects commercially operate. On behalf of our board of directors, I would like to thank all our employees for demonstrating their resourcefulness and ingenuity with all the hard work they have put in, particularly during the Yolanda crisis. I would also like to thank our customers for their firm belief in ADC, and you, our shareholders and other stakeholders, for your continued support. Thank you and good morning.